Welcome to the Direct Admission Podcast, where we talk about all the options that you have in and outside of nursing. So if you love hearing about different type of specialties, businesses, side hustles, and different types of nursing, this is going to be the podcast for you. And let's go. So today we have lovely, the PRN nursing coach and per diem nurse job specialist. And she's made over 300K in 2023.
Yes.
So lovely. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into nursing.
How I got into nursing, it was actually kind of weird because my mom, this is how it kind of all started. She went to school to be an LPN, passed the NCLEX, got a job, and on the first day that she was about to start, she got a call from the post office to work. So she completely just veered away from the nursing industry, and she's actually still working at the post office to this day. So growing up, she was always telling me that I wanted to be a nurse so bad, XYZ. So then I kind of just picked up the torch and just ran with it. And then it just became my thing. But I've been a nurse since 2017. Back in South Florida is where I'm from, where I live currently. And I did about a year in med-surg, and then about a year after I transitioned over to the ICU. And so I've been in the ICU since 2018. The traveling started for me literally during the pandemic, 2020, exactly 2 years from the start date of my staff job, I left. So I've been traveling ever since, but I've been doing strictly exclusively per diem for the past 2-3 years now.
Dang.
So that's kind of the timeline. Yes. And I've been going super hard since I started doing just exclusively PRN.
That's wild. So, well, I know that Florida doesn't necessarily pay the most for staff jobs. Is that one of the reasons why you're let me do travel and per diem?
100%. I think I was making, when I left, this is with night shift differential and IC differential, I was making 31 and change. And it was to live in a decent apartment in South Florida, you got to be working 2 jobs at least. And that's what I was doing. I was doing an ICU nurse at night, and then I would pick up home health shifts during the day. So I was literally living double lives, essentially.
That's what's so wild about the nursing career is here in New York or in California, to even double people's salaries, triple people's salaries.
Right.
How is the pay disparity that crazy? Especially Florida's a big state.
It is. And the cost of living it doesn't get any better. It's for you to live in a decent, a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, you got to pay at least 2 bands at least a month. It's crazy.
And that's everything that you're making.
Yes. Yes.
So where did you do your first travel assignment? Did you stay local or?
No, I've only done either crisis assignments or just, I think I've only done one contract, and that was in San Fran, and I did it for a month. I wasn't too crazy about the whole contract experience, but my very first assignment was actually in Brooklyn.
Oh, in New York?
Yeah, when New York was the epicenter at the time. Yeah, that was my very first assignment.
How was that? It was crazy, right?
Very crazy. Scary, crazy. Because at the time, we didn't know much about, COVID, and at my facility, I took care of actually the very first COVID patient. So we were kind of trial and erroring at that time. So I didn't realize how bad it was until I got up to New York. It was crazy.
Yeah, when I was working on the same thing, since New York is where everything started here. I remember everyone was on high flow nasal cannulas. I was like, aren't we spreading this? We're just looking around. I was like, this is bad, right? Our doors are all open. I'm just looking around all the patients. I was like, they didn't test positive yet, but they will. But so did you make a lot of money off of that Brooklyn contract?
I did actually. That was actually the very first contract or the only, I guess, assignment that I literally was I can't do this anymore, because I didn't realize that even though the ratios are pretty bad in Florida, they're really bad in New York. Like
It
really.
was so bad during COVID. Oh god.
Yes, it was. I think I saw it was one night. I was actually working night shift because I was still working night shift at my staff job. And I remember going to like the assignment board and just kind of because they floated me. I'm an ICU nurse. So that night they floated me to med surge. And I remember looking at the assignment board, hadn't got report yet. And I could have sworn I saw my name on like 14 slots next to like patient names. I said, I'm not doing this. And I literally left that night. I was like, I can't, there's no amount of money that can like save me from like helping 14 patients that all have COVID. I just can't do it. My hat's off.
It's like, don't even take off the gown. Just go into every room. That's it.
No PPE on. I just left.
But so what made you transition to the whole per diem finding, and how did you get into that? Like,
it was actually he might see this in the future, but it was actually my best friend called me one day and was like, hey love, there's this thing that you can do where like you don't necessarily have to work for the hospital, but you can work with like third-party agencies and you can work whenever you want. So he was like, you pretty much just need he was like, in order for it to make sense, do it in California, get a license, because at the time I wasn't licensed. He's like, get a license, and then I'm going to hook you up with an agency that's going to like send you to whatever hospital you want to go to, and you just work. Like, you don't have to sign a contract. You don't have to be an employee. All you have to do is just make sure that you cover yourself with your benefits, because I'm not benefited, of course. But, you're exchanging a higher pay for no benefits, essentially.
Yeah.
So he was like, you should just try it. And I tried it out. I bought a round trip ticket from Florida to California. I got a rental, I got a hotel for 6 days, and I got canceled all 6 days. So that's how the intro to per diem nursing started. And then
you must have been like, I hate you. Why did you tell me to do this?
Me and my recruiter had a conversation that day. She didn't like me that day, but she said that the trick was to stay. Like, you have to stay in California longer because these hospitals don't know you really well. So you kind of have to establish like some type of relationship with them. So that way they can, like, every time you pick up a shift, they'll just automatically accept you because they know you. So that's when I decided to purchase a one-way ticket, and I'm still here. Like 2 years later.
Like, where are you based out of right now?
Right now I'm in what's called the Inland Empire. So I'm in like Rancho Cucamonga. Yeah.
Is that like northern, southern? I don't know.
I'm in a Rancho Cucamonga, which is like, I think it was popularized by the Friday movie. I don't know if you ever saw Friday.
Yeah, I saw Friday.
Yeah, I think that's the city that they were in. But yeah, I haven't heard of it either. But I had to kind of be smart about it because initially I was just like renting hotels back to back, and
it was expensive, right?
Pricey. It's pricey. So I had to, because I knew I was going to stay here long term. So I was like, you know what, I need to settle down and get something a little bit more long term. So I literally went on Furnish Finders, and like a week later, I found like a spot that I could kind of like settle down in. So I knew I had a spot that I could lock in. So whenever I was in California, I didn't have to worry about like housing, at least.
Dang, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
So you mentioned like the benefits. How does that work? Since you are exchanging a super high pay for no benefits. So yeah, just how does that work? How do you find that?
It's weird because my insurance, I don't know if you guys get that, but I am bombarded by like insurance message, like the text messages, like the insurance specialist. They just randomly text me like, hey, my name is such and such with this company. I can shoot you a quote. So like, I usually just ignore them, like, because I get millions of texts.
So many of them.
Exactly. So finally one day I was like, you know what, let me just text them back and see if I can get a quote. And her name is Tati. Shout out to Tatiana. She's licensed down in Florida. And I just texted her back randomly and was like, yeah, just shoot me a quote, just how much it is. And then it was like $2 something a month. I forgot it was with United Healthcare. So it was actually the rate that I'm paying now is better than what I was paying when I was a staff. So it's it's weird how like backwards it is. So I fund my own insurance. It's a PPO, so I can pretty much comes with me wherever I go. I've never really had any issues with like my insurance. And then as far as like 401k and retirement, I have a funded Roth IRA and like a 401k. I guess it's like equivalent of a 401k. And I do it through Vanguard. So it's like it automatically gets taken out of my check every once in a while. I tell it what to do in my Vanguard. So it's like retirement and then insurance. And so it's kind of like the same thing.
Same thing, and you have more control over
Exactly.
what you got. Dang, that's
Hmm.
dang. Making me think here.
I got it all covered. Because that's like the biggest thing that I hear. Like in my DMs, I get at least that question once a day, like, hey, I want to go per diem, but I have a family. I don't want to lose my benefits. And it's like, there's ways that you can do it on your own. You just got to put a little elbow grease in it.
Yeah, you got to actually look for it.
Exactly. It can be done.
Dang, that makes me like really start thinking about stuff. Sometimes I just hate my job. I'm like, I should quit. So you're ICU per diem nurse. So
Yes.
how long did it take you to start not getting your shifts canceled?
Ooh, it took a while. That's another thing that I warn nurses about is you gotta be careful because what I'm doing is super risky technically, especially in the beginning because hospitals don't know you. So they're gonna go with their tried and true. There's a lot of favoritism and politicking
Of course.
in the 100%, especially when you're agency. They're gonna choose their own over you first and foremost. But usually what I tell nurses is like when you start working, getting good with the charge nurse, make a really crazy good first impression. Get in really good with the charge nurse. Try to get in good with like your coworkers because sometimes they can be the reason why you don't get shifts either. And then also get in really good with the scheduler. It took me, I want to say maybe like a month or two just to kind of get my footing. The company that I actually worked with when I initially came to California, she always had shifts. So that really was never an issue for me. But once it got to a point where I kind of wanted to migrate over to other agencies, it took maybe like a couple weeks for them to be like, oh, okay, you're usually here. So, okay.
So you know the workflow and all
Yeah,
that
exactly.
stuff. So like, I'm going to just jump into like, I guess your business plan.
Let's do it.
Like, would you tell people like, say me, I'm looking for a job or whatever. Would you tell like someone new to like the per diem game being like, don't just go for, even though you're in an agency, can you apply for 2 hospitals and still get both those jobs?
Yes.
Both those per diem jobs and just see where you stand there and try to take as many shifts as you wanted that way?
100%. Well, me typically, I do just agency. I don't work with a specific hospital, but I have at least like 4 to 5 agencies under my belt. Because a lot of nurses worry about cancellations, and that's natural. So it's like you always want to have some type of plan B. Because if I'm getting canceled, I will always text or call my plan B and say, "Hey, can I work this shift, or do you have anything open?" Or I always kind of ask in advance so that way I have an idea. But yeah, you can work more than one hospital at one time because usually the requirements for like the shifts that you have to work per pay period is maybe like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So depending on how much or how little you want to work, you can make it work.
Let me ask you something. There's something for if you were like, would you consider yourself like a full-time per diem at like any of these hospitals kind of thing? You get what I mean? Like you're doing like 12 shifts or whatever a month?
Yeah, there's a particular location that I'm at now that I'm pretty much there like 3, sometimes 4 times a week. So like they know me. It's like, hey, you're a regular here. So like, yeah, I would consider myself.
And they don't stop you from coming in?
No, because they know that I'm like super reliable. Like if you see my name on the schedule, I'm coming in 9 times out of 10. I don't really call out because there's not really much of a reason for me to call out.
See, that's wild. Like and where I work, we have a few like per diems that do the same thing, but obviously they got the job through the hospital where they used to do like 4 days a week. So what's that? 16 shifts. And then our per diem protocol says like you can't work more than 12. So they started canceling them like 1 shift a week. And they're like, what the heck? Why would you do that? And then us, like, since I'm one of the charge nurses there, they're like, why are we canceling free hands? Like extra hands here. They're like, oh, there's a per diem protocol. It's like, that's stupid. So I just want to know if that's a thing.
That's why I try not to. I personally veer away from like the hospitals itself because I don't like the restrictions that they put upon you. Like you can only work a certain amount. Because me, I'm a workaholic. If I work, like usually the average is like 6 shifts a week for me. So it's like I don't want you to stop me. If I want to do it, I'm going to do it.
That's true. So California, we'll go back into the business plan in a second. I just had that number 300K just flash at me again. That's wild.
It's wild.
And that's strictly just from the per diem nursing?
Yes, it makes my head spin thinking about 2023. I literally went crazy with the overtime.
So
Overtime,
like, were you
and also
working like 6-7 days a week?
I was. Yes, I was. And also, the reason why I was able to make so much is because the rates. To be honest with you, everyone talks about like the rates lowering nationwide. It happens with per diem too. So it's not just like the hospital system. Like the agencies are kind of feeling the crunch. So the rates were way higher than what they are now. To be honest with you, even the same company that I worked last year versus this year, I made significantly less because they dropped the rates.
Are you allowed to say what the rate was?
Yeah,
give me a rate.
I think it was like last year was like 80 something, I want to say. And I was working in Fresno at the time. And there's a particular hospital. Am I allowed to name like names?
Are you still affiliated with them at all?
I mean, yeah. I can drop names. I didn't know if I was allowed to drop names.
You can on here, you can do whatever you want.
Oh, cool. But I was working with CareF. So
Okay.
at the time I was working in Fresno. It's a hospital called Community Regional Medical Center. And so at the time the rates were like 1,000 a shift, 1,100 a shift. So it was not that bad. I was able to like really rack it up. And at that particular hospital, I guess their agreement is like if there's a shift there, it's yours. Like they can't cancel or else they get charged for it. So it was literally if you picked up the shift, it was basically a guarantee. So I was working, and I think the hour requirement was from 1 to 5 shifts. So you're allowed to do up to 60 hours a week. So I was literally doing 60 hours.
And are these like 12-hour shifts or 8-hour shifts?
100%. 12-hour, yes, 12-hour shifts. I mean, what my mentality is like when I come, first of all, I'm in a lot of debt. I'm in a lot of debt. So when I came out to California, it was kind of like a just all straight work mentality. There was no breaks, no vacations, just go completely super hard, laser focused on paying off my debt.
And are you still in a lot of debt? I'm still
in a lot of debt. Yes.
I can help you with that. That's easy.
That's the hard part is like I'm still trying to pay bills and then run a business and then pay off debt all in one body.
Is it like school debt? Is it?
That's the thing. It's not school debt. Here's the problem. I didn't have like growing up. My mom was like,
"Let me see you bougie with those cars."
No, I didn't really have much of like my financial literacy is like non-existent. It was like you wake up, you work, you get married, you buy that house, and you die. Pretty much. It was nothing in between. There was like no get a retirement plan, pay yourself first. I learned that going along the way. So when the pandemic came, I spent it.
Dang. All right. At least you're truthful with it.
Yes, 100%.
To defend you, like 99% of nurses, 99% of the healthcare field has zero financial literacy. I work with these high-end doctors making like almost $1 million a year, and they're living paycheck to paycheck. So
you're kidding me.
Nah, I talk to them all the time. I got them in my phone. Like, what should I do with this? I was like, dang, how? You're making like 700K. What are you doing? So don't even feel bad about that.
I know I get a little chest pain every time I think about it, but yeah, I'm slowly but surely because I follow you and I see that you're heavy into like the investments stocks. I want to say or something like that. I think I saw a peek of you. I think are you teaching people how to?
I'm teaching people. Okay. I have a course that shows people how to make money in the stock market without necessarily having to do much with stocks.
Gotcha.
And then I also help a few people get out of debt.
Nice.
And then someone was telling me that I should make like a whole kind of like Dave Ramsey program or have you watched the YouTube video like AO, like at the table with AO or something like that?
Yes, I follow him. Mm-hmm.
And then I love his stuff. And then people are saying like, why don't you make a platform to do the same thing, especially like to target nurses? I was like, oh, that's genius.
Mhm.
So I'm
Mhm.
trying to build out like a whole platform to do that, because like the whole debt thing is probably the biggest thing that stops people from investing. So if I want people to look at the investing program, they have to have money
Yeah.
to do it. So,
Yeah,
and the
I
biggest thing is debt.
I
So
agree.
I got to make that whole business plan. It'll eventually happen. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm
You're
using
gonna
Chat
blow
GPT to help me out with that.
up. You're gonna do so well, because that's like the second thing that I always, because I'm pretty transparent with like my Instagram followers. I'm like a story bandit, so I'm always on the stories every day, and like they're always asking me like, you always mention you're in debt, so like what are you doing? But like since I'm actively in it, I guess that's what makes them more interested, is seeing like my day to day, how much I work and how much I allocate towards my debt. You make a killing.
I'm sure, but like it's like I said, Instagram is being weird with their algorithm on me right now. So let's enough about me. let's talk about your social media and like what really made you become the friend that was the friend to you that was like, you should get into this per diem game, and being like, I could show you how to do it.
I literally got tired of talking about it. It came to one point where every day someone was asking, "Oh, yeah, that girl that that does the registry stuff. Can you tell me about it? Yeah, what's your agency and who is your recruiter and can I get a phone number?" Literally every shift. So I said to myself, I got tired of like bringing my phone out and, hey, this person. So I was like, you know what? Let me make something that was like centralized. I can put all my info in one place, even though I work with a lot of older nurses. I don't really work with younger nurses like that. So I was like, I don't know why Instagram of all things, because I don't think they even have Instagram. But for me, it was like a place where I could just like pull out an app and be like, here, like here. So that's how Per Diem Plug got started.
And I saw that you made a TikTok. So you're
Literally.
trying to get to that younger
I'm
nursing
trying.
group.
I'm
I'm
not.
still trying to. I forget to post on my TikTok. Like I have one. I have like 80 followers, and I'm like,
There you go.
I was
Yes,
like, wait, I should post on both. I keep forgetting to do it.
it's hard.
But
It's hard. It's hard.
so
I actually just made a Facebook too, and it's like, how do y'all? I can barely keep up with Instagram. How y'all doing it?
that's what I'm saying too. People were saying you got to have a Facebook group, and that'll get more people in there. I'm like, I want my Facebook just to be my personal Facebook. I just want to see what my friends are up to. That's it. That's really it. I don't want to make everything about business.
Exactly.
So you get a lot of people messaging you about doing per diem, and you said one of the biggest questions was the healthcare stuff. What's like the next biggest question they usually get?
How often are you getting canceled?
Oh,
Because
dang.
they are. I don't know if they're. I typically try not to recommend what I'm doing, which is strictly 100% per diem. I usually like to offer like to transition, like go down part-time maybe and then pick up a per diem, because my situation is a little bit different. It's just me, but I'm talking to a lot of nurses that are coming from all different walks of life. So it's like I have a family, I'm a single mom, single dad, I got to take care of my parents, so I don't recommend just completely quit your job, do not get that contract, just go strictly per diem. I try not to recommend that because, I have to, be mindful.
Damn,
But,
that's I
yeah.
like that. Like you said, you're super transparent. They're not gonna just be like, I did it, you should do it too. But that's really good. So like you're in California though. So I talk with Monica. Have you ever watched Nurses to Riches on YouTube?
I love them. I love them.
Like Jason and Monica, like apparently me and Monica have a lot of friends that are
Mhm.
same people
Okay.
here in New York. So like I used to message Jason a lot, but she's per diem and she makes a killing out there.
She's making a killing.
And I know they do like the 8-hour shift thing in
Mhm.
Northern California. And
Mhm.
then she said something about, I think she said, they'll always offer you the extra 4 hours to make it like a 12-hour shift. And because California labor laws or something, you
Mhm.
get paid double time for that time.
Yes.
So you're making more money on the 4 hours than you did on the 8.
Mhm.
Do you do that as well?
I wish that were me. Nope. Nope. I was like last week years old because I'm always like researching like the PRN field and just kind of seeing like what new developments are being made. So I was last week years old when I found out that there's like a loophole. There's like some loophole to where some agencies, some hospitals, if 12 hours is your schedule, like if that's your thing, like as a nurse, we work 12s. I don't think, well, there's a few hospitals that do have the grandfathered 8-hour policies, but most hospitals do 12s.
Oh, that's
If
what
that's
they're
your
doing.
thing, they don't have to. That's
That's what they're doing. I
12
see.
is your base. Anything after 12 is considered time and a half.
And then by that time, you're dead.
You're
You're so tired. You want to stay another 4 to do what? Dang. So like that's what I was told. I think like I don't want to say anything about their program, but I think a part of it is saying that you apply for the 8-hour gig, so you're offered 12-hour shifts to make the most money possible.
Yes.
But that's dang. But yeah, like if I was California, any hospital in California, I just stop offering that 8-hour shift if I'm trying to save money. But that's wild.
Very good for her though. I think they're making it work for them.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're doing amazing. I can't wait for them to come back to New York so I could just be like,
oh, that's
hey,
right, they are moving back. That's like their thing now. It's like they're transitioning back. Good for them.
once they're back here, because like I think Monica's family lives near me,
Nice.
so I'm gonna be like, hey, let's hang out. But yeah. So how many hours are you working now? Because are you still killing it? Are you still going after like?
I'm still killing it until that debt goes to zero. I'm gonna 6 days a week. I usually take off Sundays. Sundays is like my day off, and then I'll take off in the middle of the week if I'm like, okay, it's starting to get to me because
So
sometimes
then, like, are you canceling the shift on that Wednesday? Like, nah, I can't.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I love about this is that you don't really get penalized as long as typically I like to cancel the night before. So that way it gives the hospital plenty of time to replace me as opposed to because what happens is the night before they'll give you a reminder saying, hey, you're still coming to work. And then at 5 a.m., like 2 hours before the shift starts, they'll text you, okay, we still need you or we don't need you anymore. So I try not to wait until the very last second. I like to give them plenty of time to find a replacement for me, but I don't do that often.
And that's like another good thing about like keeping rapport with whoever's doing the scheduling and the charge nurse being like, oh, if she cancels, she'll let me know way ahead of time so we can figure this out.
Exactly.
Dang. So I'm going into your link tree here. Like, so what? So an extra $5,000 a month as a PRN nurse.
Yes, my ebook. Oh, you going in my business?
Hell yeah, I am. This is like a business nursing podcast here. So, without giving everything away, because obviously I want people to download your ebook. What do you go over in there?
Basically the bare bones of PRN nursing. It's kind of like volume 1 because I wanted my ebook to be like a series. So that's essentially volume 1 is for someone who knows nothing about per diem nursing. I'm catering more to an audience that wants to do what I'm doing, which is duplicating expenses. So, because I feel like I've kind of mastered it 2 years later. So I kind of teach them how to, find housing, how to find transportation, how to master book your shifts. I talk about, I think I throw in a couple of agencies in there that you can work with that are really good. Yeah, that are really good, either nationwide or you can work in your backyard. Some of them do cater to if you want to stay local in your area. You don't necessarily have to fly out to do per diem. You can do it anywhere.
Dang. I do have a question. Since you're based out of Florida and you're working in California, do you get any specific tax benefit for still having that Florida residence, or are you considered like a permanent California?
That's actually a really good question. I mean, I have an LLC, so I kind of use.
You just hiding stuff from me now?
Yeah. No, per diem plug is a business, okay? So I use what I'm doing in California as like business expenses. As fun fact, this is actually my bedroom. This looks like a studio. But yeah, so like I use it as like an office, and like my
Yeah.
rent is my rent, my office rent, I guess you can say. Just kind of correct me if I'm wrong, but but I use a lot of like travel expenses, like going back and forth home to Florida. I deduct all of that pretty much.
That's perfect. And as
Yeah.
long as your account's cool,
Yeah.
they make it work. So your per diem plug LLC,
Mm-hmm.
you get paid into that for your nursing job. Am I hearing that correctly?
One agency did that. A lot of agencies don't like to do that. I don't know why, but CareRev, I put a gem out there. CareRev will allow you to get paid through your business. You can use your EIN as opposed to your social security. Yeah, but the only thing is that when you are when they actually credential you with the hospital, like if you're getting like your Pyxis access and like your Epic or Cerner access, you need your social. So that's the only reason why they would ask you. But otherwise, you can use your EIN.
Dang,
Mhm.
that's a cheat code.
I know, right?
Because I did hear from when my friends were doing travel for, I guess, during the COVID times,
Mhm.
they had like personal LLCs that they made for their travel nursing. And then they said it's hard for a lot of
Mhm.
companies now. They said that's why they're all taking staff jobs. They're like, no
Mhm.
one wants to pay into an LLC anymore.
No, they won't. They won't do it. I was surprised when I saw that. I was surprised. But yeah, no, not everyone does that.
And for your next thing on your link tree, the RN templates for your resume.
Yeah.
Do you help people fix up their resume?
I can. That is a service I can provide. I thought about that. Because but I tried to water it down so like to like basic floor level to like all you have to do is just copy and paste. That's it. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, that's it. So see, that's I've interviewed a bunch of people
Uh-huh.
and they are making a killing off of resume revamps. They are doing so well.
Who?
I'll name drop one. He was like one of
Please.
my first guests. His name is Phil. He's from Florida.
Hmm.
He's a work from home nurse and he does resume revamps for nurses that want to work from home. So he puts in keywords and he makes people's resumes
Hmm.
be perfect
Really?
applicants for work from home jobs. And he's doing so well. Well, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't want to get in his business, but
Yeah.
that I think from now until December, he said he's not going to do it because he had too many on his plate. And he's like, this is like kids' time. He wants to be with his family and all that. Then he's like, then I'll go back into it. But
But the work from home, it's like, I don't know what it is. It's like it's exploding that area. Like my algorithm on Instagram is like 75% working from home and like nursing.
mine is too. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's like everybody wants to work from home, and I don't blame them. And like, wow, I thought about doing it, but with me, it's not compatible with like me working 6 days a week because like I'm
That's
exhausted
true.
when I get back. That's the only reason why I have not done it. But once I kind of scale back because I see that my debt is becoming a lot more manageable, I do want to offer a lot more. Like I'm going to be opening up a mentorship for like newer nurses that are on like their year or 2 year, like right on the cusp and want to transition over. So many different things I want to take it, but I wanted to do like a hands-off type of product so that way people can buy the template, copy and paste. I think yesterday one of my nurses said that she purchased one of my OR templates and it is ATS like I guess you want to say maximize, so that way when it goes through the first pass system, the algorithm, you can just jump straight through. And she said she got a job with just copying and pasting. Yeah, because there's the keywords on there too. So it's like, okay.
That's how it works. And
Yeah.
then as long as you're getting people these jobs, that's
Yeah.
another thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then these calls, these 30-minute and 60-minute calls, are
Yeah.
these paid for?
Yes. So essentially with the 30-minute, 60-minute, you get me for that amount of time. And I'm literally from the time the phone rings to the time the call ends, I'm literally giving you gems from start to finish. And
How do
then
you have time to do this? You just say you work 6 days a week. I'm looking at your schedule here.
so my
You
calendar,
only have Sunday
I
open.
I thought that my calendar was blocked off to where it was like before work and after work because I am Pacific. So usually most of my audience is on the East Coast. So by the time I'm up at like 5 a.m., it's like 8 o'clock their time. So it's like it's perfect. So I can like talk to them for an hour before I get ready to go to work because I don't start until 7. So I have, 6 to 7 for me to get ready. And then so you have, that time. And then if I have enough calls, like if enough people are like DMing me and saying, well, I only have this day available. Can you be available? I'll take off. Like, I love my peoples. Like, if I have to take off, I'll take off. And then after the phone call, I put together like a little plan to where it's like, here's housing, transportation. This is everything that we talked about. Like, you get notes. And then I'll shoot you like a couple of PRN jobs that you can just, with links attached, so that way you can apply to all of them. And then I'll put my recruiter's name and phone number. So like, you get like a package deal. So it's not just a phone call. You get information that you can take with you, that you can actually like actionable steps that you can apply and like do it.
So you're taking notes like the whole time.
The whole time. Mm-hmm.
Dang, that's a great service.
That's what I thought, right? I need to push it more. I'm not advertising it as much as I do, but it's there. But like, I think I was pushing it when I first did it, but then I was working a lot and I was like, I want to be able to make sure that like, if I'm going to advertise a service, that I got to like stand on business. You know what I mean? I got to actually follow through. So I kind of slowed down with it, but I'm going to pick up eventually.
How's, from a general standpoint, how is the business for you? How's that going?
It's going, what I'm making a killing in is my close friends. I am making a killing with that. And that's easy for me because I'm always on Instagram anyway. So it's like typically with it's like $19.99 a month. So what it is with close friends, it's like the content that the regular audience doesn't get to see. It's like privileged information. So on my close friends, I usually like drop tips, tricks, like little insiders on my day, like kind of like a behind the scene type of thing. And then like the higher paying jobs, because I'm always on Indeed. I'm always on, different job searching websites to where I'm always, or either word of mouth, even Facebook. Facebook has been really good lately, where I've come across higher paying jobs. Like I think it was 2 days ago, I found one of my best kept secrets. One of my companies just dropped I think it was like $1,300 a shift for L&D. And usually I drop jobs on my Instagram stories all day, but the close friends get the higher paying ones. So the $1,300 one, I dropped that in my close friends. So they have the privilege of, kind of applying and getting the sauce, before anyone else.
That is genius. I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, the close, like, I don't even know how I skipped that first. I'm like, and I clicked on it. I was like, you got to DM you your IG name.
Yes.
And then you get a part of it. Wow. Yes. That's dope.
Thanks.
And that's all through link?
Yes. Yes. If you go to my link tree, I think it takes you over to like the Stripe checkout.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Just as long as you DM me your Instagram name, I got you. I got you.
And then how does, like, say if someone unsubscribes, how do you know who it was? And
that's the only thing. That's the part about me being a new business owner. Everything is done manually. I'm trying to figure out how to I don't know much about this. So everything is literally done manually. So with a subscription, you have to DM me and say, hey, I'm out.
See, that's the problem I have as a business owner too. I like this. We are on the same thing.
Yeah.
Like same thing. Like if I put out like a monthly subscription thing, I would connect it with. I would have to connect it with something that has like a user interface that allows it to do it all for me. And the only thing is Discord. And I was like, damn, I don't want another.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, you could. It'll be Discord. Like I think that's the only way. So then it's just like, do I have to use another program?
Yes. Oh my God, yes. So the other month, like a month ago, I decided to move everyone over to Discord because I feel like it's a distraction. Like when nurses come to Instagram, they don't want to come to look at something I'm doing for business. I want to like completely separate the two. And then there's a lot of nurses that are trying to veer away from being on social media so much. So I'm like, I gotta get over to Discord. So I'm actually creating a Discord like group as we speak. It's crazy.
Yeah, like I'm still building mine out too. Like it's not hard.
Yeah.
I think just sitting and doing it, knowing that work as of that moment until whenever I do launch it isn't making money, kind of like eats at me. It's like, am I working for free? Is anyone going to sign up for this? Am I doing this all for no reason?
I get the same the thoughts, should I say.
So again, for like the business aspect, you said generally the close friends thing is the thing that is the money maker.
Yes.
And then I don't see a high ticket item on here. Like, what is going to be your high ticket order?
Tell me that. This is nuts. The mentorship, because I'm thinking to myself, it's per diem nursing. Like, here's the thing. We're gonna get a little real for a second. I consider myself to be hyper independent. So it's like, you ever get to a point where you're like, whenever you want to get something done, you just want to get it done yourself. Like, I don't like asking people for things. So now it's like when I transition as a business owner, it's like, how do I ask for things? Like, ask for, here's my product. Can you buy it, please? Like, that's how I feel. So it's like when it comes to high ticket, I think it was actually a lot of my products are driven by DMs. So I do have ideas, but I don't bring it into life until someone asks me like a question. And then it was like, oh yeah, well, yeah, I have this idea that I wanted to do XYZ. So literally a couple of days ago, it was a nurse who she just got her 1 year and she DM'd me and she asked me, hey, do you do mentorships for nurses that are, just hit their 2 year and want to just like, they know absolutely nothing about per diem nursing and just want their hand held. And I said, yeah, I could create something. Yeah,
I can do that.
So I think that may be the high ticket is the mentorship. I'm assuming.
I think so, because you have a lot of things that could funnel to that, even if it doesn't sell a lot.
Yeah.
You don't need it to be a lot to give you an extra like paycheck a month, a week, whatever it ends up being. But I think that's also the hard part about nurses becoming business owners is that a lot of us are, like you said, hyper independent, where if I want something done right or the way I want it, I'm going to do it. And we only ask for help in crisis. That's really it. Oh shit. It's like, I need help. But I think that's the hardest part for all of us to, like, when we jump into business, it's like, how do you turn that switch off to become a business owner, and to, especially that, like, I'm also going to say a lot of nurses, if it's not something they could show off, they're not planning on buying it. Like, it's how do you broadcast your program that's going to help someone make more money from both of our aspects to people that only want to buy something they could like literally flash on out to someone?
That's a good question.
I don't know, it's tough.
Good question. I'm not really like a materialistic girl. I'm more of like experiences over materials. So I try to be as personable as possible. And I like to tell people, I think I said this in my stories the other day, that I'm not an influencer. Like, if you come onto my page, I'm not like, you're not going to, I mean, I did one post that was like a day in the life, but you're not really going to see like, hey, come to work with me for a day. Yeah. Look at my cute bag and my pretty Crocs. Like, it's not me. Like, I'm more of a nurse entrepreneur. So like, I'm going to show you the business side. I'm going to show you the finances. I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know to successfully be a PRN nurse, and forget all that other stuff. Like, you can go to, there's 50 million nurse influencer pages and you can see them do pretty things and, wash their face in the morning. Like, it's not me. Like, if you're going to come on this page, you're going to come, this is the real side of nursing. You're going to see me on my day 6 of 6 saying, I'm tired, y'all. Like, but that got to get paid. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. That's how I separate myself from like the other nurse influencers, I guess.
I love how you brought that up, because I feel the same way about it. I'm like, how did they have time to wake up that early to do all that? I'm literally crawling out of my bed. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm gonna be late. If I don't get in the car in 2 minutes, I'm gonna be late. I was like, and to set up a camera and do all that.
Yeah. My biggest thing is like I'm trying to figure out, how do y'all set up y'all cameras at work? Because someone's always around me, and it's like people are recording themselves in like the supply rooms and like in the corner and like one of the nurses stations, and it's like, I don't have that luxury. I think that's another reason why I don't do it.
I feel weird when I do it. I'm like, everyone is there. And it's like, I just need 8 seconds. 8 seconds of me in scrubs. That's it. just give me that so I can write a caption.
I envy you.
Everyone turn around for 8 seconds. No, but that's true. Like, I love how you brought that up, that nurse entrepreneur instead of nurse influencer, because sometimes I fall, well, I'm not gonna say sometimes, all the time I fall into that mentality that, damn, all these nurse influencers are making a killing off of these brand deals and all that stuff. And I was like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Or should I be doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of following what I feel is broadcasted to my audience of learning how to invest, get out of debt, personal finance, all that.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, nothing against the nurse girly influencers. Absolutely, they're getting sponsorships, and it's like, I envy you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it just depends, like, because I want it to be portrayed as, because when it comes to nursing influencing, even though I like it, even though my algorithm is like the other 75% of it, is nothing but nurse influencers. But I feel like it's more of like a facade, like what they call it, romanticizing. I think that's a word, romanticizing. And it's like, I mean, it takes more of an effort. For me, I'm the type of person where I like low effort content. So like, I want to be able to show, okay, I made XYZ this week. This is how much I paid in debt. It's easy for me. Like, it's more fluid, but nothing against the nurse influencer girlies.
Yeah, nothing against them. Like I said, I get jealous.
That is
jealous.
When I see the paid sponsorships, same.
So it's like, how do you keep yourself from doing it other than, like, I know it's not who you are. That's like what you said. It's not who I am. Mm-hmm. But when you see someone, if they have less experience than you, or if you see them making a killing off of it for something that's potentially low effort content, like they're just showing off scrubs and here's my affiliate link, or they get sponsored with it. How do you keep your mind from not doing that, not doing the same thing?
I think my biggest thing is because of the whole low effort thing. How could I always ask myself, if I was to do it, like, would my content be different? Like, how could it be different? You know what I mean? Because when it comes to like nurse influencing, I don't know, my creativity is just not there. I don't know, because I see a lot of the same reels. It's like, come with me to work. Here's my pretty shoes. Here's my nice bag. It's like, here's my pretty car that I drive. And it's like, what can I do different to stand out? And I don't know if I have the bandwidth to
think of that. Like, I thought about doing like the total opposite, because like, when I drive to work, I drive a freaking wrecked car. It's like 250k miles on it. It has all these scratches. Like, this is what I do going to work, because I work in New York City and I don't care if this car gets scratched. But little do you guys know, I have no debt and I'm making a lot of money. So.
Right. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody has to do it.
I think I'll do something. And it might hurt, but the thing is, like, we'll see the reactions I get from it, because like you said, the romanticizing of nursing is crazy. And if I just totally like shit on it really quick, it's gonna be like, damn, is that really it? I'm like, yeah. Sometimes I gotta wipe some shit. That's what nursing is. That's what it is. I'm seeing a lot of old people's butts and wiping some butt every now and then.
You're an anomaly. You have a car in NYC. That's an anomaly.
Yeah. Well, I live in the suburbs outside, because I got a family now. That's the dream. Got to live that American dream: house, car, family to bring them everywhere. But see, I told you this was gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you know what? From the moment you turn on the mic, I don't know, I felt comfortable.
That's the common thing. But we're hitting an hour here. If there's anyone that wants to reach out to you and need help from you, how
Yeah.
could they reach you?
Instagram for right now, yo. I'm working on this TikTok, Facebook stuff, but across all platforms, it's per diem plug. So it's spelled out per diem plug.
And I'll put that all in the description down below. And if you had any advice for people that it's like first time listening to this and they want to do what you do, what kind of advice would you give them?
It depends. If you want to be like me and just go all out, balls to the wall, get a non-compact license, 100%. That's what California, Massachusetts, Oregon, New York, get them all, get them all. And then, because typically within those states, it's like better pay, usually get more competitive assignments or more competitive, I guess you could say, shifts in this area. They have the union, so that way you're more supported. That way you're able to get better ratios, so that way you can provide better quality patient care. Typically it's the better overall non-compact versus the compact. So I would say get your non-compact license. That's number one.
Compact license.
And then number two, if you want to go another route, if you want to stay like in your backyard, follow me. Like I always give agencies that are like that you could use. Like literally, you can wake up and 6 blocks away is your hospital, and you can go PRN there. So it just depends. But I would say my number one tip and trick is to get a non-compact license.
Damn.
And get you 2 years of experience. I would prefer the 2 years over the 1 because that way you have, better skin in the game.
Doesn't matter what specialty. Like if most people started with med surge, like this.
No, it doesn't matter. Because usually most assignments, you don't get any orientation. So the more experience you have, the better. So get at least 2 years. That would be my second tip. 2 years.
Yeah, so you're not just a baby nurse, just
winging it. Yeah,
like, I'm here.
We can tell. We can tell.
That's true. So lovely. This was so much fun. I'm really happy to have you as my first guest for season 2.
Thank you.
I'm going to have you back on here again because this was a lot of fun.
Yes, please have you back on here.
Hopefully it'll be a little bit later in the day for you, so you're not the ass cracking dawn over there.
This is actually my very first podcast, my very first one. So hopefully I did well.
I think you did great. And I'm sure you're going to get a lot of other people messaging you soon too that will get you on here as well. And they're more West Coast people, so you'll be able to be on there.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. So have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. All right.
All righty. Have a good day.